Hey guys, how's it going? We are back and we are looking at a new change in my Accie's enclosures. Can you guys spot what is no longer there? We're looking at Asus's enclosure now. Asus is actually having a hearty meal on exactly what we're talking about today. We are talking about the removal of food bowls. These guys are very well trained hunters, more so than a lot of standard, kept reptiles. They really love it. It's a good mental training thing for them, a good way for them to have some enrichment. And it actually saves me some time because on my food bowls, not only would the roaches sometimes get wet from just being around, I guess like a humid bowl that would really take condensation well, and that would remove some of the calcium, but I also put a lot of tape around it so they couldn't climb out, and that would wear off and stuff, and I'd have to remove it, and it would become this whole ordeal. So now that I'm doing all sort of hunting style, feeding, I don't have to worry about that. Plus, they have more space. Let's look at Dell's real quick because I took one out of Dell's. They have more space to run around. I'm going to probably put in a couple more logs eventually or pieces of wood just for more climbing space and everything. But basically, what we're going to talk today is just that, the removal of food bowls. I'm going to show you how I sort of transferred them from the luxury of having a food bowl, since any reptile would probably get used to it and not, be as instinctual with hunting if they had their, food items presented to them so easily. And that's what I did with tongs. I trained them for a little bit, and then now I just kind of toss it in there. Sometimes they'll go after it right away, sometimes I won't. Dell, over there, my baby, Dell will go after it right away. She's very enthusiastic about eating, where Asus might go after a couple, especially if they start running really fast. But usually we'll wait until later to hunt, like you just saw there. That was a roach from who knows how long ago. So yeah, that's basically what I'm going to be doing. And I'll just show you guys with Asus what I did with the tongs. Basically the tongs, the whole part or the whole reasoning of doing that before just throwing them in there is you could kind of make it a little bit more entertaining. Asus responds a lot to movement, so that was a good thing for him. You might not even need to do this step to make the transfer. You might be able to just throw it in. When a reptile's hungry, they're hungry. They will hunt. They will get instinctual. But anyway, let's get to it, guys. Real quick, guys, if you haven't, make sure to check that lower right-hand corner. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure to hit that bell so you know when I post more updates. Thanks, guys. Alright, guys, so everybody knows how to use tongs probably if you have a couple reptiles, one even. Basically, all I do to the first step to transfer them from food bowls is just put a roach on a tong and sort of make it dance a little bit, just so they get a little entertained. You can probably drop it eventually. Asus sometimes get freaked out a little bit by tongs, but then as soon as he sees it drops, hopefully he'll go right for it and not make me a liar. There he goes. He likes to play with his food too. He tosses it around a lot. But yeah, the real point of the tongs is just to kind of wave it around a little bit so they kind of see that it's like a living thing and it's moving a lot. Like I said, Asus, I don't know why, just doesn't like tongs, so I usually have to drop it, but it kind of gets him worked up a little bit before I do, so he kind of gets in the food mold. Oh, God, I can't pronounce any words today. Food mode. But yeah, so that's what I do basically for the tongs. I did that for probably like a week. Like I said, Dell is really easy to transfer this over, so Dell, really didn't even need them. Asus just did a little bit because Asus, I guess, needed to adapt a little bit more. I think he was just very used to the food bowl. But yeah, that's the first thing I do. But like I said, guys, now instead of the tongs, I just grab them, and, it's not super important if they eat them right away. I just smacked
That was a great shot. He's like, oh my gosh, it's on top of me.
But yeah, so I just toss them in there near them, and they'll usually see them. If they're hungry, they'll grab it, and they usually do eat like most of what I throw in. Right now I'm giving Asus 8 roaches, and I do a 3 times a week schedule. So like, what is he doing with his tongue? Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. Anyway, I do a 3 times a week schedule. I do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That is the schedule.
That is the schedule. So that's what I do, and then they go an extra day for the weekend. but I kind of like that. It's okay. It's totally fine if they don't respond right away also. Like I said, you know, you could kind of starve really any reptile, and when I say starve, it doesn't really mean starve, it means just kind of wait out food-wise. They're going to get hungry eventually, and they're going to eat. They're not going to, you know, go towards starving to death over not. You know, they're not that dumb. They know they need food, and they are trained instinctually to find food. So eventually their instincts will come around. So if they don't respond right away to, even with tongs, or if you don't want to use tongs, that's totally fine. They'll get it eventually. That's just how they're programmed. It'll work that way. So that being said, you know, most of the time they will respond right away when I throw it in there, which is good because it's right after these were gut loaded. They didn't have time to really sit in the enclosure. But if a couple stragglers get away, that's totally fine too, because you know, you get some mental enrichment from them hunting around. We have Maxine over here trying to make an appearance. I thought, you know, I'd show her off just because she obviously is scratching because she wants to be on camera. We are actually watching Yu-Gi-Oh! Again right now, and as you guys know, Maxine is named after Maximilian Pegasus, and she's Maxine Pegasus, creator of Duel Monsters.
It's been a blast.
But yeah, so I'm going to finish off feeding Asus, and then I'll show off Dell as well and her food response. One thing you can do also real quick before I move on to Dell is you can throw them in sort of hideaway places so they kind of have to, you know, mentally think about it. I threw one kind of behind the log there. I just threw another, and Asus just totally did not see it until now. But I threw one behind the log, and, you know, it kind of gives them, again, more mental enrichment if you put them somewhere they have to work for. So, you know, don't be afraid to not throw it out in the open. Throw a couple behind something. Make them work for it. Make them have to think about it. It keeps them entertained. So it's all good. All right, to feed Dell now, and you'll see immediately her food response and how like adapted she is to this. She's ready. As soon as I open it, even go close, she just runs up. There we go. I thought she wasn't gonna do it.
I was like, as she runs up.
I thought she was gonna punk me. I always have a feeling of doubt in my reptiles when I do this. Look at that food response.
She's a little camera shy, so she likes to eat, you know, away.
She is a little bit more hungry, I believe, because she's, you know, obviously recovering from laying eggs. She's still got some folds going on, so that probably adds to her food response. But again, one of the things too is, you know, Dell has been pretty large for a while, and this is the first time in a while that she's not gravid and she's a little skinny and, you know, can exert some energy. So I think that adds a lot to you know, her enthusiasm for eating and her diet. But I think I have a pretty good amount for her. All right, let's give her a couple more. And again, like I said, I'll do it for the next roach, but don't be afraid to throw them someplace they have to work for. It makes them have to think, keeps their mind on par. So that's why, you know, I threw one on top of her little hide there. She had to go looking for it and chase after it. They're pretty fast too, so, you know, they know what they're doing. That didn't go where I wanted it to go. Trying to get it in between those logs there, so let me try again.
I think it's cool, like, sometimes when you see Dell, like, dig around after a while, and then she finally catches a roach that's been hiding.
Yeah. So one of the things that's cool about having them in there prolonged and having them hunt is watching them actually go through the steps of hunting. They'll dig sort of slightly with their claws, and then they'll kind of get their nose in there. It's really cool how they try to turn over things. They do sometimes have trouble seeing things, or actually not probably seeing things, but really finding roaches that really don't react super well, at least from what I've seen. Anyway guys, that's about it. You can see Max is enjoying some free roam fun right now. I always love when Max starts ranging around sort of the outer edge of her enclosure near the glass, and she kind of like is like, hey, I want to come out and hang. So that's what she was doing. She always jumps down onto me when I open it, like right away. It's so funny. Sometimes that does mean she has to poop though, and I'm hoping that's not what she's planning on doing, because this is carpet, Max. This is carpet. Yep, you heard me. Anyway guys, thanks for watching. I really just wanted to do a video on removing the food bowls because I don't think a lot of people consider it. I'm not sure because I feel like some people might not even put food bowls in there in the first place. Overall, I just really think there's a lot more benefits to not having them. So if you started out without food bowls, good, great, awesome. If you're having them, consider switching, you know? Let them use their natural instincts. You're not going to harm them or do anything bad to them. they'll enjoy it, and you'll see some more awesome Ackie behavior. You know, those guys are so fun. Oh, taking off. It's like pouring outside, guys. Real quick before I end the video, let's see if you guys can see. Where I live, it doesn't rain too much because we're on the outer edge of like a mountain range. I think we're on like the drier side, if that makes sense. I'm not totally on geography here. I don't even know how to word that, so you guys can tell. But we get like torrential downpours for like 5 minutes where it like flash floods, and that's pretty much it. So you guys can see a little bit of that. Anyway, sorry for wasting 30 seconds of your time with that little, you know, off the beat segment there. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Max appreciates it. See ya.